Hello, sir. Good morning. Good afternoon, sir. Girap, sir. Am I audible? Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible?
Good afternoon, madam.
Am I audible, madam? Sujata,
Yes,
madam?
madam. Yes, madam.
Okay, okay. Girap sir, are you there in the meeting?
Yeah, am I audible?
Okay, hi, yes sir, yes sir. Okay,
Yes, I'm there.
good afternoon sir.
Good afternoon.
Sir, we'll wait for 5 minutes, huh?
Yeah, sure.
Uh, Shall I start, sir?
Yes, sir, yes, ma'am.
32 participants have joined now. Good afternoon to one and all present here. I, Suvarna Thakre, HOD of IT Department, welcome you all for Day 4 FDP on human values and its impact on youth. Topic for today is technology and human values. In an age where technology is an integral part of our daily lives, it's imperative that we reflect upon its profound impact on our values, ethics, and humanity as a whole. Our speaker today is true visionary who has dedicated his career to exploring the intricate relationship between technology and human values. So I take this privilege to introduce today's speaker, Mr. Dinesh Girap, sir. Mr. Dinesh Girap, Head Department of Electronics, PV Polytechnic, which is Skill Development Key Set of SNDT Human University, Mumbai. He has rich experience of 25 years in teaching engineering students at the undergraduate level. He has also served as officiating principal of the University Polytechnic in the past. After receiving a Bachelor of Engineering from Shivaji University, Maharashtra, he obtained M.Tech in Embedded Systems from National Institute of Electronics and Information Technology, University of Calicut, Kerala. During his academic career, he has received the National Merit Scholarship and MHRD, Ministry of Human Resource Development, Scholarship for Postgraduate Studies. He has been part of various state level projects such as curriculum development, lab manual development, question bank development, undertaken by the Maharashtra State Board of Technical Education. He has co authored a book, Basic Electronics and Lab Manual of Power Electronics, published by Maharashtra State Board of Technical Education. His article and interviews on latest technology, trends, and education have been features in various newspapers and renowned magazine like Electronics for You. He is a part of university level technology committee responsible for planning and deploying various technological reform in the university. He is also a member of University Incubation and Innovation Committee, University NEP Task Force Committee, University Research and Development Cell, and University International Cell. He is specialized in firmware development, educational technology, engineering education, and management. These words are not enough to express his achievement. This is all about today's speaker. With this, I request sir to start with the session. Over to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Nirmala madam. Thank you so much. First of all, I'm thankful to the organizers for giving me this opportunity of delivering a talk in this FDP on human values and its impact on the youth today. So this particular topic, the human values and impact on youth, is very, very relevant in today's, like it wasn't relevant that much, but in 21st century, with the progress of technology, the pace at which the technology is progressing, considering that factor, the human value thing is becoming more and more important. Because if we go back to the very primitive stage or very early stage, or even if we go back to the mythology, the Greek mythology, I remember one story where the In the Greek mythology, the god gifted a king a gift of writing. And when this particular technology of writing, at that point of time, the writing was even considered as a technology. So when this gift was given, the king was a little apprehensive. So he thought it's not a gift at all. It is something which is going to ruin the memory power of our citizens, of his citizens. And he said people will stop using their memory because at that point of time there was no technology available which using which you can write the things. People believed in conversations. People passed on their knowledge by discussing the things. People passed on their knowledge by arguments, doing the verbal arguments, but writing thing wasn't there. So the king told God that you have gifted me this gift, you have gifted me this skill or the technology called writing, but that will add to forgetfulness and people will stop using their memory. So the Socrates, the Greek philosopher, in fact, mentioned this particular story and said, "Is it something like the technology is like a information? Like that is what we are progressively forgetting. That technology is like information. We see that there is a lot of access. There is a lot of access to the information using internet, and that internet, people misunderstand that information as a knowledge. But the information which is available nowadays on the internet is solely we have to look at it as the information. So the technology is similar to that of information. And then it is up to us how we convert that information into knowledge and then that knowledge into wisdom. So the technology is similar to that. Uh, in this age, sometimes we feel that the technology is what governing our life, but actually, it was not meant to be like that. It is a technology we human beings have to govern the technology. But if we look at the youth today, uh, what I feel is it's a technology that is governing their life. That means they all kind of gadgets that they carry, the way the technology is governing right from morning they wake up till they sleep, the way they are making use of a technology. And if there is no technology at their disposal, in the one or the other form, they feel handicapped or they feel like the day-to-day life has come to a standstill. So that is the way. That means here somewhere when we observe our students, we feel that it is a technology that is governing our students. So uh, what I feel is in today's era, the 21st century, and when we say industry 4.0, in the era of industry 4.0, this particular thing, that is human value, and the impact of technology on human value is far, far more important. And that is why I congratulate, first of all, the organizers who have selected this particular subject for the FDP. And then I took this opportunity to discuss with you the impact of technology on human values. So in this session, we will see how exactly the human values have changed over the years with the advancement of technology. What care do we need to take so that these human values remain intact when the technology is progressing? See, we have a multiple role. We as a teacher have got multiple roles to play. It's not only that we are passing on the things which are there in the book to the students, but along with that, we will be passing on, we will be making them what we call it as holistic education. So we actually aim to provide the holistic education. And that is why even the at the national level, at the central level, even the government has decided to include universal human value curriculum in the entire, like integrated it with the even the engineering. Uh, Whenever we teach students to at a polytechnic level, we intend to teach them supervisory skills. We intend to teach them technician level skills, and at a degree level, we intend to teach them design skills. So there is something called as design by values. There's a pedagogical aspect of teaching. Whenever we teach students the design aspects, at that level itself, we expect them to inculcate or include design value aspect, human values aspect into design. Most of the problems which we see today in the society related to technological advancement is because of that particular thing. Because see, when the industrialization started, the initially the values were prominent. They were the main thing based on which the people used to live. That is the way of living. The human values were way of living. But as the industrialization took place, only one thing became important, and that is the efficiency. The efficiency at which that particular industry is going to function. The production should be optimized as possible, and that thing became the main important thing. And as the advancement took place, of course, the finance or the commercial things became the very important factor in the world's development. Initially, the wars were fought on the battlefield, but now as you all know, wars are not fought on the battlefield, but on the economic front. And when that is so, it is likely that our engineers will come up products which will earn more and more revenue first to the company, and obviously that will again increase the GDP of the nation and will help the country to progress. So, and that is where then the whole focus remains on earning the revenue, how we can earn more and more revenue, how we can make our country $5 trillion economy, or the for like 20 million $1 trillion economy, and so on, how we can become number one economy in the world, number two economy in the world. So as we see all over the world, there's immense competition at that level, and everybody is trying to beat the other country when it comes to commercialization. And that is what gives rise to so many aspects which are directly related to human values. So the only thing which is remains in the forefront is somehow, yes, we have to design our products, we have to make our products or give services so that it earns maximum revenue. So when we are teaching our students, what I feel is this is the most important thing which we need to teach, because obviously that is what a need is. Now we will discuss various case studies during the session. There are 5 to 6 case studies which we are discussing, because the whole session is based on the case studies. And then probably we can think of our teaching pedagogies, which we can the technologically advanced teaching pedagogies which we can adapt. And then probably we can come up with our ideas. So as a teacher, as a technocrat, as engineers, how what type of a solution that we may think of. So that could be the exercise for you, because it's a 3 hour session, it's a quite a long session. So if I go on tutoring, it may be boring. So we will carry out a lot of conversations, we'll carry out a lot of exercises. Before I begin, let me play one video. Just let me know if you can hear the sound properly. This video will set a stage for us. So I'll just share my screen and share the video with you. Just let me know if you can hear the sound.
Yes, sir. So we can't hear it.
Audio is not available?
No, sir. Only
Okay,
screen is visible.
okay.
Sir, request to play on YouTube.
Just let me check the settings.
Okay.
As like Zoom, do we have separate settings here in Gmeet as well to get the sound of the video?
Yes, we are checking, sir. Wait a minute.
Sir, when you share your screen, at that time you will get option share with audio.
Yeah, but that is we get it in Zoom, but I haven't got a option in Gmeet. Share tab audio. ठीक है. That is already been checked.
Sir, one request. You need to play on YouTube and share the screen.
Okay, okay, we'll check. Because this is downloaded, the video is downloaded. Just check. Once again, I'm sharing it in the video, in the separate window. Let's check and tell me. Is it audible?
No, sir.
Yeah?
No.
Anyways, we will. The video was all about the future of technology, what the introduction which I gave you, and it emphasizes on the need of human values because, after all, we human beings, uh, you know, uh, cannot just communicate over the internet, cannot just communicate over the tools, technological tools, but we need human to human connections. We may have lot of variables, we may have a lot of robots, even the micro robots which go into our veins and inside the body and do the surgery and all. But still, that human touch is important. In the world of artificial intelligence, the things become more and more important. So before we go further, let me share my screen and go back to the we will see the historical perspective of technological changes. So is my screen visible now? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So first of all, before we begin, go ahead with the case studies, let us take the historical evaluation of progress in technology. Now, prehistoric and ancient times. Now, obviously, during this time, there were primitive tools and technology to meet survival needs. So, just the survival need was the most important need of that time, and obviously the hunting, shelter, and agriculture. That is what those were the most important values. Community living, the values were community living, kinship, and spirituality. Obviously, all the people over there, they had no the tools or the technology by means which they can move to a long distance. So obviously, the community living in a community was a prime important thing, and obviously, then there's a spirituality was the main important value there because people used to pray all the things which are there in the nature, and that is what the things were. And technologies like wheel, written language began to facilitate trade, communication, and cultural transmission. That was just the beginning. Then you just pay attention to how exactly the human values over the period have changed according to the progress in technology. Then medieval period and Renaissance period, during that time, there's a evaluation, there is a printing press revolution. Some machines were invented, And human values often revolved around religious belief and societal hierarchies. So these were two, like all the values, those were quoted at that time. Those were those were related to the religious belief and societal hierarchies. So if you see a lot of history books, then this is quite obvious over there. That is the period where the different religions came into existence and spread all across the world. And then obviously comes along with these beliefs, there were ethical discussions were focused on censorship and the impact of new technology on the society, because that was a technological development. And then comes our industry revolutions. So we say first industrial revolution, second industrial revolution, third industrial revolution, that is the age of IT, and now the industry 4.0 that we talk about. Now that is where the history of the technology, the advancement in the technology, dates back to this 18th and 19th century. Now that is where the profound technological changes took place and mechanization came into existence. So the values got shifted to, see, initially from spirituality, then the religious values revolving around the religion, and then the values started shifting towards industrialization, urbanization, and economic growth. And the ethical debate was revolving around rights, child labor, impact of industrialization on traditional values and communities. And that is the beginning of the actual beginning of the technology which we today consider. And then comes the 20th century, where the electricity, telecommunication, and transportation, these were the things where a lot of advancement took place, and the values now shifted to consumerism, individualism, and growing reliance on a technology for convenience. See, earlier the the inventions or the technological developments were out of need. This is where in the 20th century onwards, more than need, people started developing things for convenience. You know, so a lot of convenience. Like earlier, people if you look at the development of the technology, most of the things got developed by the military. If you look at the things, so even the research which took place in the US was funded by majority of the research was funded by US military. So that was out of need. And later on in the 20th century, then that nowadays what we see around is the technology is getting developed for convenience. That takes the more important aspect. So during 20th century, the ethical concerns were related to nuclear weapons, environmental degradation, and the privacy in the digital age. And then we come to the 21st century. Now, 21st century, we all say Industry 4.0 started with internet, smartphones, AI. These are the things which are changing the whole scenario, particularly when we talk about artificial intelligence, deep machine learning, or deep learning. These are the things which are changing the entire scenario, and of course the value system. Now values are now revolving around individual privacy, information security, and ethical technology. Now let me tell you, as a teacher, and when we see students now submitting their assignments and all, most of the assignments are nowadays they use even chat gpt or different AI tools so much that they we may complain that they have stopped using their brain for writing the assignment. But again, when we compare it with our ancient thing, the great Greek mythology story from the Greek mythology which I shared with you, this is bound to happen. The students are definitely going to use chat gpt, but how do they convert the information derived from the chat gpt into meaningful knowledge and meaningful wisdom. That is what we teachers are have to try and teach them how they can do that thing. If you see, look at my presentation and you see these pictures here, all these pictures, I have used different AI tools to create these pictures. So we give different prompts nowadays and use this AI pictures. Now these pictures are not at all copyrighted. We can use it freely. Earlier, they were always, there used to be, whenever we come up with the open resources at that time, I worked with a university, SNDT Women's University, and we work on a lot of content development. So when there used to be a content development, there's a concern of using material which is copyright free. So now the problem is solved. So the Pixabay or different websites are there which provide you copyright free images. But now the problem is solved to a great extent by these AI tools. AI tools, they generate this picture which is quite relevant. You give a proper prompt and the pictures are there in front of you. All these pictures you will not find on the internet readily, but they have been developed by using different AI tools, even this picture as well. So here, ethical technology use comes in picture. So this is quite ethical, but there are so many issues that we are going to discuss where ethical technology use is under question. Now the debate, ethical debate is focused to online harassment, data privacy, AI ethics, and digital divide. Different things that these are the problems. These are the ethical debates are taking place on these issues. Everybody is concerned about their data privacy. Everybody is concerned about the online frauds that are happening. Online bullying or online harassment, that may be the worst case for anybody, let it be a man or a woman. Online harassment could be a problem for both of them. And digital divide. So I remember the things like few years ago when the Reliance wasn't there, the Jio wasn't there. The we used to face a lot of problem. How at a university level we always used to discuss how we can deliver the content which we are developing, the OER which we are creating to the students, because the internet is not that the speed we do not have, and plus the data packs are so costly. So we used to come up with a lot of solutions like provide them a material on the on the SD card or something like that in the remote, because we have colleges at the remote places. The university has colleges at the remote places. So we even thought of giving them tabs. We even thought of giving the lecture content on the SD card or a pen drive kind of thing. So we tried different options. So digital divide, yes, with the advent of technology, the advancement of technology, till it has not become that democratic that it is at the disposal of everyone. So digital divide is still the problem. Okay. So this is how the technology has advanced, and with the advancement of technology, the shift in the values has taken place, and obviously the ethical debates, the topics of ethical debate also went on changing. Now, obviously, impact on the society. So technological advancement obviously uh, are measured with the societal impact as well. So this societal impact will be definitely on a different fronts. Like, for example, we will see the economic impact. So the industrialization, growth of factories, information age, so this has led to impact on employment patterns, displacement of the jobs, creation of new jobs. So this is the economic impact of the advancement of technology. Now, why we are considering this impact? It is because of which the value system, the human values, get affected. We have to closely look at the impact of the advancement of technology or technological changes in with it's a multifaceted impact that it creates. So it creates impact on economy, then it brings social and cultural changes. Now transportation started like with the industrial revolution, the transportation comes in. So as we have more and more tools, more and more means of transportation, people started, those were earlier were staying in a community, the close knit community, started staying far off because there were means of transportation. That brings in social and cultural change. Internet. Now when internet came in, that brought in a lot of change. Now we used to say earlier, like in India, we have this something called as Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, right? So the whole uh, earth is like one family, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Actually, after the internet, we actually the world, the entire world came together. Now, if you are, when we discuss about economic impact, economic aspect, then also we talk about globalization, the free trade between the countries. When the free trade between the countries started, then again the world came together. Similarly, with respect to economy, it was a free trade, but with respect to communication, it is the internet which brought in things together, the whole world together. So this whole thing got an influence on culture, communication style, entertainment, and art. See, today, Indian movie industry, for example, the movies produced in Mumbai are watched all across the world in their own language. Like China, for example, or Russia, for example. Russia had been a source where the movies got published from ages. But then with the communication, the entertainment, with the advancement in the technology, definitely the things have changed in a much faster way. The cultures, different cultures coming together, sharing the sharing different things with each other, brought in a lot of changes. So again, these changes impact your value systems or human values to a greater extent. Probably we people who are living in Mumbai can understand that, because we have people uh, in Mumbai. If you look at the corporate thing, we have people from different part of the world working over here. So is what the today's office is. And plus we have this work from home culture now. We are India is number one in IT. So our people get to work online, and their office could be anywhere in the world. So this cultural impact is the one which definitely we have to take into account, because these values, which when we teach, these values when we inculcate, definitely these not only the values will be restricted to our country as such, but they are going to be spread all across the world. Then ethical and moral implications. With the technological advancement, as you have seen in the PPT, as we went on progressing, different ethical problems got they cropped in. Moral dilemmas and ethical. Now, in this digital age, these problems, we are going to discuss few cases in which you will come to know what are these problems. Then political and geopolitical impact. We all are now monitoring what is happening all across the world as far as political scenario is concerned. Now there is a G20 mid going on. Plus, we have witnessed last few elections in the US, what happened over there in the US elections, how technology played an important role, not only in US, but in India as well, as far as elections are concerned. How different electronic media is used for, for diplomacy and the communication, which is intended communication. So cyber warfare, digital surveillance, social media, political manipulation, these things actually got cropped in when we think about industrial revolution. And how can we forget environmental impact? Now we are talking about environment, and this particular value, human value, to take care about the environmental things is very, very important, and probably why we even teach in the engineering curriculum, we include such subjects and we try to convey the things, because the pollution, the industrialization, electronic waste, these are the main problems. Day by day, these problems are becoming more and more. So we also have to make youth aware about the environmental impact and the values associated with it. Education and access, definitely, because we all belong to education fraternity. We are the one who have to assess the impact of technology on education, and whatever concerns that we have, whatever problems that we're facing, we only have to deal with the problems, eradicate those problems, and overcome those problems, and take the knowledge part to the student in as effective way as possible. No doubt today we use, and thank God, like thanks to COVID, we have started using technology to a great extent, and we are delivering this workshop online. That is again the because of the technological advancement that we have, that the world has seen. But along with the technological advancement which are being used in the education, there comes the disparities, there comes the problem in accessing the knowledge and digital divide, as we have discussed. So these are the things which we are going to, these are the introductory things. We have seen the historical perspective, how the things have changed, how the values have changed according to the technological advancement, and how these values have impacted different area. Now this is very important to understand. As a teacher, it is very important to understand these transitions, how the world is progressing, because the users of, we do not expect students, because now the Gen Z is such that they have seen this technology right from their birth. But we are the ones, I consider, we are the one, like our generation, those who were born in 70s, 80s, have seen both the worlds, the industrialization, the advancement in technology, and the current, the previous things as well, when there was no internet, where there were no computers. So we have seen this transition, and we are the very important, like our generation, few generations are very important generations, where we are, where where we can take these values, keep these values intact, and relate with the technological advancement, and carry and pass it on to the students the way they understand. You know, because if you consider the Gen Z, the latest generation, millennials, then the Gen Z, if you consider these generations, their brain is wired differently altogether. And when we deal with the students, those who are in the right from the 10th standard, first year students, second year students, you might have observed that as well. Their brain is wired differently altogether. And if we try to tell them about the values and all in a traditional way, probably we may not be able to connect with them. So as a teacher, I consider it's very important to understand how the transitions have taken place and what ways that we need to adopt to pass on the right values to the students and make them understand the values associated with the technology. Since they have used technology right from their birth, they may fail to understand the human values associated over there. And obviously, the upbringing and the cultural background plays very important role. But along with that, the relation that has to be established between the technology that students are using in a day-to-day life and the human values, that is our role. Because we are the ones who have seen the both the worlds, and we pass on. If we transition ourselves, if we equipped ourselves, if we know the things inside and out, we can pass it on this to the students. So this is the first part of our session. So probably if somebody wants to share anything or discuss anything, you're welcome to do so. Let us go on the discussion mode. Let us not keep it in a tutoring mode. Probably those the participant, you're all are from different engineering colleges, have done teaching for many years. So probably you can add your experiences when it comes to human values and advancement of technology. You can tell me some stories in the class or your experiences when it comes to teaching, learning, and the use of technology. Definitely, we will be next session. Next part of the session would be on based on the case studies. We'll see different case studies, different human values which were at stake probably, and then what are the measures that people should take, we all should take, the government should take, society should take. All these things we are definitely discussing in next session. But before moving on to the next session, please, if you have any story to tell, please share it with the audience. Anyone? We have around 55 participants here, 60 participants. Yes, Mahajan sir, please.
Yes, sir. I would like to share with you regarding the use of the technology. Nowadays, students are using the mobile. Okay, they are using a YouTube or various sources which are available online mode. But what happens, sir? The use of the technologies depend on the students only because they are using the mobile maximum uses for playing the games. Okay, so there are several disadvantages, and that the motivation behind the use of the technology has been changing nowadays because of there are several apps and games are available. So that is the most important problem that we need to discuss in this forum, because that purpose we have to find out the solution, how we can motivate the student towards the study, because nowadays the parents are also complaining us to they are using the mobile. But some of the most of them, it's mean 90% of the students are using mobile for the other purpose, not for the study.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you, sir. Uh, Even that is where, the development of the technology, those who develop, those who design the technology. I mentioned about value design, the values in design kind of pedagogy. It starts right from there. But as I mentioned, the economy, the revenue that is going to be generated, those who develop, the companies which develop such games, the only thing that they aim is to generate more and more revenue, penetrate more and more all across the world, and then that actually makes them to develop things which develop habit. Students become so habitual and they get so engrossed with such gaming that they forget everything, and that's definitely that the problems, if we have to mention, then this problems is a huge, and that is probably why where the government comes in. So that is why government in between had banned PUBG, because when government see ki all are playing PUBG, everybody, all the small kids are playing in PUBG day in day out, then government has to put a ban on PUBG. It's not only because of the privacy, users' privacy that was at stake, but the whole generation was at stake, and that is where the government comes in. So such kind of restrictions at the government level as well are necessary. In a country like India, where there's a democracy, this comes a bit difficult, and then it takes time to bring in such ban. PUBG, it was possible because the app was developed outside. But then if there was some Indian products, then probably that the things could have been different. It could have been delayed further. Having said that, one more thing as a teacher, what we can see, what can do ourselves, what I feel is developing, see, gamification is one of the pedagogy that we talk about. Every time when we develop our content, we talk about one pedagogy is which is gamification. Now, remember after COVID, I started calling my teachers as content developers. Now, teacher is no more a typical the one who delivers a lecture, but teacher has become a content developer. So, gamification is one thing you might have all heard about, using which we make our teaching learning more and more interesting. So probably, and what are the games? It's the same thing. Like we bring in those aspects of games into our teaching so that the students get addicted. Addicted in the, I'm using this word addicted in a right positive way. So students they become more and more interested, and then they start using, because if these students don't get hooked to your education app, whatever you develop, the videos content what you develop, or then interactivity if that is missing in the development, then they probably get diverted. So those issues, such issues, Mahajan sir, can be addressed at multiple levels, and definitely uh, we can have such even the faculty development programs addressing such issues of youth which are deriving from the technology. Thank you, Arvind sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Anybody else would like to share something?
Sir, I have one question.
Yes.
Sir, nowadays students are getting the information easily on the internet. Okay,
Yes.
so they are not giving the importance to the teacher. What to do in that case? Mostly newcomers, those who are joining newly, so they are not giving importance. So what to do in that case?
Ma'am, actually, we all face, and over the years, we have been saying the same things. If you just go back and introspect, even in my case also, over the years, it's been 25 years I've been into teaching, and every year we keep saying that this generation, the earlier generation was far better. The students
Yeah,
earlier
yeah,
were far better than these students.
very
So
true,
this is
very true.
bound to happen because see the when we talk about psychology of the students or in this digital age, their attention span has gone down drastically, and there is always a need of instant gratification. That is what we call it as instant gratification. Now, these problems are psychological problems which we have to take into account because we are engineers, we are teachers. So it's not that we are psychologists or psychiatrists, something like that. But that is why I said that we need to know the advancement of technology, its impact, societal impact, socio-economical impact, all this impact we have to consider. So not respecting teacher has to deal on a multiple levels. Why
Yeah,
they're not respecting? Because their attention span has come down drastically. So if you observe our videos, YouTube, which was posting
yeah, they
videos
are
earlier,
making everything on YouTube.
या 15 नहीं 15 मिनट्स का वीडियो था, आज 15 seconds 30 seconds and 21 minute के videos हो गए, reels we call them as, right? Why these reels are becoming popular among youth? Nowadays these young students spend hours together watching reels. They don't watch full video, they just love watching reels. Why is it so? It started from TikTok, if you remember. It started from
Mhm.
TikTok, and now every platform, every social media platform, right from Facebook, Insta, or YouTube, every platform has got this version of short videos. Why is it so? Why it is appealing to masses? It's because of the attention span that has gone down. When we send a message to someone, and if we don't get the double tick, and once we get double tick, if that doesn't turn blue, then we become like these students rather become very hyper. Why it is
Yes,
not? Why it is not be message being not read? Why message is being not being delivered? Or then why I'm not getting the reply? If it is delivered and get read, then why I'm not getting the reply? They become panic literally, and they can't focus and concentrate on one that but any other thing. They just wait for the message to be replied. So this is called an instant gratification. That is because these people have seen this instant messaging thing kind of thing right from their childhood. So that instant gratification is one thing, because they need output there and there itself. Their attention span has come down. The educational technologists say, experts say that the attention span of students have come down to 5 to 6 minutes. That means whatever that you teach need to be finished. The point needs to be finished in 5 to 7 minutes. That's it. Video, if you make, that should be of that duration only. And teaching also, if we teach hours, like full hour, 60 minutes lecture, then they're because of their attention span, so less attention span, they don't listen to us, and then we call them as not listening or not respecting or whatever. Then the behavior also has many things which create such kind of behavior. So these problems have to be addressed at a societal level, teachers level, as well as parental levels, and whole as a society as a whole. Government also comes in between. So these are the things here. They are directly related to the values. Kasif sir. Kasif sir, would you like to say something? You have raised your hand. You are not audible, sir. Is my screen visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Next part is about the case studies. We'll see case studies and discuss them so that we get the idea. Okay, what are the values which are at stake nowadays? How we can, as a teacher, how we can ensure that the students pay their use the technology in the right way, in a more meaningful way. Now, the first case study that we are going to discuss is about Cambridge Analytica and Facebook. Now, many of you would be knowing what exactly is this case. Now, Cambridge Analytica scandal. You might have seen the video of Facebook CEO in the court and answering questions. Now, what is Cambridge Analytica? So it's a data-driven political consulting firm. So as you all know, that today the data is everything. Election campaigns are run with the help of this data, and the whole election is based on this. There's a team of data scientists working for every political party to ensure that the party wins, and the social media campaigns are run in such a way that they get this political party gets vote. We don't even come to know what we see on the screen on the social media is actually a genuine post, or that is a post which is shared purposely by this team of people, those who want a particular party to win. So it's a the Cambridge Analytica is a British political consulting firm which is into data analytics, behavioral profiling, and audience targeting. Now, this is done nowadays by everyone. We just talk anything when the phone is in our pocket, and the Google listens to our conversation and start throwing our ad. Now, here there are a lot of human values which are at stake, in fact, but then they have these things that they take our consent unknowingly. So even the human autonomy is also a value that is also at stake. That is what is happening nowadays, and it is a point of concern. Now, this coming back to the case study, the Cambridge Analytica. So it's a political consulting firm running different campaigns for political parties in United States and United Kingdom. And they have this data analytics techniques, okay, and they merge the data from various sources to build comprehensive profiles of individuals. And then they profile, after profiling is done, they turn those people into voters. So this particular company played a significant role in shaping the political campaigns and elections and influenced voter decision. So, and they operate in multiple countries. You might have heard some people in India as well. Now, those people could be the contestant in the upcoming elections as well. Those who handle political campaigns of certain parties, you probably would see them as a candidate contesting elections in India. But this particular scandal which I'm talking about, this particular problem which is there, which was there, it was in 2016 US presidential elections, and this particular company played a role in that. Now, how Facebook was involved? This is the company. Now, how Facebook is involved in this particular problem or the scandal, which we can call. Now, Facebook has got a that at that time Facebook had some vulnerabilities in there, because after all these are all money making things. So uh, they give lot of APIs, application programming interfaces, to different clients, and through APIs, see, it's like many a times we see this games on Facebook. We click on those games, and those games are applications which we give permission to such applications, and then what happens is we get this profiling after you, when you are going to die kind of things. You might have seen this in the Facebook. So it gives you prediction, which famous personality you resemble with, kind of prediction on the Facebook. And people unknowingly click there, allow that third party app to get access to your profile, and those apps give some interesting facts about you or something like that, which you will proudly put it on your Facebook wall, and then you expect some likes and all that stuff. So that is what is done in this case. So API is used by this company, Facebook API is used, and without permission, the information, like without permission, the data of all the users were acquired. So you can see in the slide 87 million Facebook profiles. The Cambridge Analytica acquired data of 87 million Facebook profiles, and not just the user, एक individual user का नहीं, but their friends and all, so that the data set becomes exponential, you know, and it is because easy to then run your campaign. That is why when you watch something, if you have paid attention to the technology, when you watch certain video on the YouTube or Facebook, your friends list, your friends also get the same notification or the same videos, and then that is how it is. Like when you have this relationship established, you can easily enlarge your reach. Now, this particular app called This Is Your Digital Life was developed by this Alexander Kogan. So Dr. Alexander Kogan was a researcher, developed this Facebook app. Of course, that's a third-party app, and users who gave consent and used this app unknowingly allowed access to their data. So obviously, this has impacted Facebook's reputation to a large extent. Otherwise, also, we keep on hearing different things about Facebook acquiring our data. Not only Facebook, but there are multiple platforms which use our data. Now, why this becomes very important for all teachers to know, because students, if not Facebook is a old kind of thing. Our generation people nowadays only use Facebook, but otherwise students use different type of new generation social media platforms like Instagram and all. So what are the ethical issues related to this? Number one, privacy infringement. So it was the scandal involved unauthorized harvesting of data from the Facebook without consent. So this is obviously the ethical concerns, the violation of individuals' privacy and trust, human values come in picture. So it is violation of privacy and trust. Then data misuse, right? So data was used for political purpose. So it is unethical manipulation of data for political gain. In a democracy, you cannot bias people like this. So that is what is done. But that's why it is unethical manipulation of data for political gain, influencing people, influencing election, and influencing public opinion. Then there is the ethical concern of lack of transparency. Facebook was criticized for not adequately protecting user data and failing to notify affected users promptly. So this is ethical development of the app. It is not that engineers do not know while developing such kind of technology. It is not so. But then for a gain, for monetary gain, they have to give certain application, certain API to their client. And then they obviously, if they cannot close that vulnerability, that is being misused. So lack of transparency could be an ethical issue. Then the issue could be related with this is informed consent, because users were not informed about how their data would be used when they use this particular app. So that is consent was, the users were not informed. So obviously the responsibility of tech companies also comes in. We all teach engineering students. These are the students who are going to be the developers, the designers, the workforce of these tech companies. So tech company responsibility, there's a discussion which prompted ethical responsibility of tech companies. And then after 2016, if you have noticed, a lot of changes have been done. Worldwide, Facebook faced the government summoned Facebook employee or Facebook CEO for facing lawsuit. And then there were a lot of things or the restrictions came in. So that is the responsibility of tech companies. Then see this, because of such things only, you see there are a lot of Chinese apps which were banned recently by India. Data privacy concern, because at a global level, see on the one side we have global free trade, but at the same time we are banning apps developed in China. Not we, that is not only in India, many other countries have banned Chinese applications because of this data privacy, and all have agreed at the international level. Once these things came into light, many countries have agreed, because this is very important aspect. Data privacy is a very important, even the security concern, as well as there is a the human value is also at stake. Then public awareness, yes, that we have already discussed. This lack of awareness actually makes individuals vulnerable. Now, how does this thing created societal impact? See, obviously, political influence is one major thing, because obviously the party comes in, becomes a ruling party, and then all the measures or all the laws and everything is governed by this political party, right? So if the political party has got elected because of such wrongdoing, obviously whatever is going to happen after that, after the party is being elected, that also would be not in the best interest of people. So political, societal, this is a societal impact, political influence, erosion of the trust. So basically, now if these things keep happening, people stop trusting the technology. The Facebook is what just an example. This could again create a long-lasting effect on user engagement and consumer behavior. Remember, uh, these such kind of campaigns are actually useful. The technology is for the benefit. But then when this kind of things happen, even we stop trusting genuine applications, where suppose the government of India comes up with certain campaign which has to be reached to the masses, to the poorest of poor, to the remotest village. And then if we stop trusting the application, the technology, then that could have a problem, that could give rise to the problem. Regulatory response, this particular impact I discussed, many countries actually uh, uh, were aware of such kind of things and banned certain applications. Many applications came up with their different rules, created data privacy awareness, right? So what were the fines and penalties? Both Cambridge Analytica and Facebook faced fines and legal penalties. Okay. Now, general data protection regulations came into existence in European Union, and several countries and regions introduced updated data privacy laws. So, because of these laws, accountability and transparency increased. Now, the public calls for regulation. The general public actually started asking for regulatory regulations on such companies. Corporate policy changes, tech companies, including Facebook, revised their data policies, and ongoing discussions chal rahe about the need of comprehensive data privacy. So these are the legal and regulatory actions. So what are the lessons learned from this particular scandal? Data ethics matter. Now see, these are the new age values. Remember, earlier they were not in picture, but these are the new age values. So data ethics matter. Then informed consent is essential, right? People have to be informed about whenever we generally ignore. We say accept, I accept पे click करते हैं और आगे जाते हैं. We hardly read all these things. That is our problem. But at least the companies, and then one more thing, like वैधानिक इशारा, जैसे वो छोटे अक्षरों में लिखा जाता है ना, तो all these legal documents are also like that only. They're very small fonts and they are pages and pages together. So we scroll down, say I accept, and then we go ahead. It's like that. There is no easy way in a simple language. If whenever we are using app, if something pops up, whenever we click on something, and then we get some pop-up telling us that this could be the consequence, then probably this could be the added thing. But no app does that. No application does that. But yes, informed consent is essential. So transparency in data practices is vital, and regulatory frameworks are essential. We keep blaming government for making changes. ये bill आ गया, वो bill आ गया. But nowadays it is so important to bring in new laws, because many a times what happens is we come to know about the problem when actually the scandal takes place. The online, I'm talking about this internet related things, and then we discuss about what regulation to bring in, what law to be passed. But then this has become very, very important. And then the lesson learned also, the continue with public perception affects reputation. Data misuse has consequences, because till that time nobody dared to call such a big company like Facebook in the court, because as you all know, these big companies also maintain their aura, because for a government, any government, these big companies are also important for them, for their own interests. So it was and in the US, if you see, many companies sponsor even the elections. So they are the main sponsors. So definitely calling such people, such organizations in the court, and then levying a fine or punishment, giving a punishment, is a big thing. So data misuse has consequences that every company should understand. ethical leadership is crucial at all the levels for maintaining ethical data practices. Yes, this is very important at every level, not only at the highest level CEO of the company, but even the small engineer, the very fresh engineer which is working should understand that the ethical leadership is crucial and data literacy is empowering. That means everybody, the whoever is a user of the technology should understand that what he or she is doing, right? So this is about the first case study which we have discussed, what happened due to the technology, how the biggest thing for any country is the election. The biggest thing in a democracy is the election, the biggest activity, because we elect government for next term. And then the next 5 years or whatever is the term, that is in the hands of that particular party. So that is the biggest thing which can happen to any democracy. If the technology can impact to this extent, then definitely it is a point of concern. A lot of things can change, a lot of things can happen. So that is why I have included this as a discussion. This is the impact of technology to the values. Okay, so we can have some discussions. There are some discussion points if you would like to engage in. See, when we talk about regulatory things, to what extent the government should regulate? Because then there are different implications of the restrictions. We say this is a democracy. It's not a dictatorship wherein government can regulate anything. And then sometimes it so happens that we even don't even trust government. If government says, and you must be knowing that Apple Apple के अगेंस्ट जो केस हुआ था या फिर लॉसूट हुआ था या प्रॉब्लम हुआ था, ये एप्पल नहीं, पहले उससे पहले एक फोन आया करता था ब्लूबेरी और ब्लैकबेरी आई सपोज, राइट? So that was a company which introduced that messaging, encrypted messaging, and government wanted to know, pass through that messaging through their channel so that they can also read, and they denied or something like that. There was a big issue. So there is an issue to what extent government should regulate such companies or such data. So that could be the point of discussion. Now, the second one is, if we put restrictions because of the values and ethical responsibilities, then how companies will make profit? Because it has to be win-win. So balance between profit motives and ethical data practices. Then there could be a discussion कि who owns user data? User का data मिल गया, so who owns it? And if the company claims the ownership of the data, how they can maintain the privacy of the data? Then the point of discussion could be, what does informed consent mean in digital age? जो मैंने आपको example दिया था कि आपने I agree बोला, एक click किया, तो whether that is a informed consent? Yeah, companies can go beyond that and can create awareness about the different data policy or their privacy law and everything. Okay. Then the point of discussion could be the impact on democracy. Because when we are in a democratic country, definitely we need to take into account this. Then how we can educate people for such kind of things. Then take industry accountability. Industries also have to be accountable for this. So they have to self-regulate. If not government regulation, then they have to regulate by themselves privacy in a digital age. So these are the things, these are the discussions. I expect some your point of view on this or discussion on such things. What do you think? As a teacher, how we can make aware, because sometimes it so happens that students come and teach us. Many times you also have seen लेटेस्ट टेक्नोलॉजी आ गया, कोई नया ऐप आ गया, तो हम अपने बच्चों को बोलते हैं कि ये कैसे है, ये कैसे करने का, ये सिखाओ. And we just remain users and followers. It so happened in my case uh, I wanted to know what is Discord server and all. So I have to turn to my 15-year-old son to teach me what is Discord server, what are bots, and how to use these bots and automated things in a, how to set up a server, how to run different things on the server and all. So this is what is happening. So unless we keep ourselves updated, we may not be able to convey it to the students and teach them how to be accountable, how to have a autonomy. Autonomy means मतलब कि खुद का डिसीजन खुद लेना, किसी के इन्फ्लुएंस में आके डिसीजन ना ले. These are all values. So according to me, we have to first, as a teacher, equip ourselves and then can prevent youth getting affected or even affected to the extent of electing a government. You know, it's a huge responsibility on our shoulder. Any points are welcome, please. Am I there in the room?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you. So I'd like to hear from you, probably anything related to use of such social media and data breach, probably आपके साथ हुआ हो या आपने एक्सपीरियंस किया हो. See, the privacy. Earlier, पहले के ज़माने में, the privacy was with respect to something else. But now the reference to the word privacy has changed altogether. Now this is a data which we want to keep it secret, private, which was not there, which was not the case earlier. Because today, everything is governed by the data. So that is it. Like from this, the take is, please, we have to make sure that the students are well informed. We have to prevent youth, because just now we discussed a while ago that students have less attention span. वो कहाँ पे जाएंगे जब एक 13 साल 14 साल 15 साल का बच्चा जब सोशल मीडिया यूज कर रहा है, तो they do not go through all these legal documents and understand what is the data privacy and all. It is upon us to inform them, make them informed, keep them informed that this is what the data privacy that you, this is what the care that you need to take while using these platforms. Okay, moving on. This is again, now I have selected many of these case studies which are related to directly impacting youth, you know. And when we talk about in the latest industrial developments or industry 4.0 and all what we talk about, this is all about internet. This is all about AI. This is all about data and all that social media. So these are the things which actually our youth is engrossed, and that is, these are the things which is affecting our value system or human values. So social media and cyberbullying, this is also an issue. Every now and then we keep hearing about such problems, people facing every day, every now and then, especially women fall prey to such cyberbullying and all. Trolling, we say trolling, how people are trolled. You know, this is one such trend nowadays everywhere. Trolling, we never think कि क्या गुजरती रहेगी जब आप ट्रोल करते हो किसी को, तो उस बंदे पे क्या गुजरती रहेगी. Because earlier age, see, this trolling used to happen for years together. ये तो अपना स्वभाव बहुत, मतलब सोसाइटी में देखेंगे तो ये तो स्वभाव है लोगों का. But earlier it was restricted to one particular, say, मोहल्ला, गांव, है ना, न्यूज़पेपर रहेगा तो वो डिस्ट्रिक्ट में एंड ऑल. बट नाउ social media, so all the world, like once people start trolling you or cyberbullying, it goes to the entire world. So this is what the power of social media is, and kind of impact of cyberbullying. People actually give up their life because of cyberbullying or trolling. So this is a image which I have again given some prompt to the AI and build an image which actually gives you idea about social media and cyberbullying. So which is cyberbullying and for exploring dark side of digital communication. Obviously, the social media, digital communication we talk about is a social media. I need not give you any background on social media. Everybody is aware. We have been using social media for years together. And instant communication, that has played a very big role. In fact, say, I'm not only pointing out the negatives of the technology. Obviously, we are talking about human values. So definitely we have to look at how human values are affecting. So more negatives, less positives, balance भी होंगे उसमें. पॉजिटिव है, ह्यूमन वैल्यू जो सोशल मीडिया है, that has played a very big role for bringing people together. So all the values associated with this togetherness, human relations have improved. We ourselves have witnessed. हम लोग कुछ 25 साल 20 साल पहले कॉलेज से पास आउट हुए थे, and then suddenly one fine day, like we got this Orkut, and then we had this so Facebook 2005-6 में Facebook, और फिर अपने पास WhatsApp आ गया, and then we started celebrating our reunions. Earlier it wasn't the case. So there are positives, but again, social media, there are more negatives. Such kind of cyberbullying and all these problems do exist, right? So significance of social media, obviously, where I need not stress upon. The cyberbullying is something, is a new phenomenon. It's not new, it was there, but nowadays, because of the widespread social media, this has become very, very important problem. And especially with teens, when we talk about teenage people, teenage students, cyberbullying can, can be catastrophic, can bring catastrophe for such students. And this cyberbullying can happen on social media, messaging apps, email. Okay, that is what, through that it happens, and it affects emotionally or psychologically. Okay. Why? How social media platforms contribute to the prevalence of cyberbullying? It's because of probably the reason could be the anonymity and reduced accountability. People feel that अगर वो anonymous user करके कोई post करते हैं, कुछ किसी का morph image डालते हैं और post करते हैं, कोई derogatory message post करते हैं, किसी का कोई गलत चीजें पोस्ट करते हैं, तो दे आर एनोनिमस, दे आर नॉट अकाउंटेबल, ऐसे फीलिंग आता है उनमें. तो that is because people can dare to do so. Then the ease of communication, what it takes, just the mobile is in the hand, it is connected to the internet, so just push the content, that's it. So it is ease of communication which adds to the cyberbullying. Amplification and virality. Content shared on social media can quickly go viral. And the things which go viral, the kind of the content value that it has and all, there is no value at all. For many a times we see such a content which has no value and it goes viral. And trolling and all videos to become very famous. Now even the kid of 5 years kid, I have a niece who is in 3rd standard, she talks about trolling or roasting. Now the other word is roasting. If I talk about, we have to talk about the new generation's language, then it's called as a roasting as well. So this roasting word is so famous that my niece, which is in third grade, she knows what is roasting. So she says, "Uncle, I'm going to roast you." So this is what the kind of content which is there on the social media. So lack of gatekeepers. Nobody even see, there are a lot of less filters. Like when you post something and when people report, then only the current post is removed and all. But till that time, there's no vigilance. See, Disinhibition, false sense of disinhibition. That means ये तो हम लोग ऑनलाइन पोस्ट कर रहे हैं, जो भी चीजें पोस्ट कर रहे हैं हम लोग किसी के बारे में, वी आर पोस्टिंग इट ऑनलाइन एंड सच काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स डू नॉट हैव एनी रियल लाइफ कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. दैट इज व्हाट पीपल फील. तो जो मैं ऑनलाइन पोस्ट करता हूँ उसका प्रॉब्लम मेरे लाइफ में, रियल लाइफ में मुझे सजा नहीं होगी, मुझे जेल नहीं होगी, ये एक चीज है लोगों के मन में. दैट इज व्हाई दे कैन डू सो. Excessive comparisons and pressure. Social media platforms जो है, there is a lot of competitions among themselves also. Then online echo chambers. क्या होता है, कोई अगर चीज थोड़ा सा वायरल हो रहा है तो this social media platforms, what they do, they show it to the 10 different, because the profiling is already there, user profiling they already have. So if they see some potential in the post, they show it to the 100 more people that having similar mentality, and then that is called as echo chambers. So the algorithm works in that way, so it goes viral. Inadequate reporting and moderation tool, I told about this. Now what approaches that the company can take is content filtering, reporting mechanism, social media monitoring tool. I need not elaborate on this. In fact, we all know these tools, but these are the approaches which company can take. Machine learning for predictive analysis. This is how the technology can be used effectively against the problems which are derived from the technology. Now, machine learning for predictive analysis could be used for identifying cyberbullying incidences, educational app and games. How many times do we see the app which tells our kids how to use social media platforms sensibly? Even that could be our exercise कि एक ह्यूमन वैल्यूज ध्यान में रखते हुए what kind of app that we would like to develop. During the session, please, you can keep thinking about this and note down the aspects of such app. Anonymous user identification. Now there are a lot of ways to remain anonymous in the cyberspace. But these ways are again created by the techies, by the engineers, by the companies. So why we can't do that ban? Why we can't put on the ban? I always feel there's the VPN networks, right? If we ban certain application, or if we ban certain website in certain country, one can easily use that hiding behind the network, the other network, VPN network and all. So such kind of applications, why they are not banned altogether by all the countries? Then AI chatbot for support to prevent cyberbullying. Yes, this is again the technology. We see chatbot in nowadays on every website, everywhere we see chatbot. All the Discord server and all run on using a chatbot. And data analytics and research. So technology, कांटे से कांटा जैसे निकालते हैं हम लोग, वैसे ही technology should be used for preventing the misuse. So these are the questions for you to discuss. What are the ethical responsibility of social media companies in addressing cyberbullying? What can educators and parents play? How can educators and parents play a role in preventing cyberbullying? What are the challenges and limitations in combating cyberbullying in a digital age? This is what we can discuss. Anybody would like to throw some light on this?
Sir, may I?
Yeah, please.
So like this, the school going students, okay, children, they are exposed to social media at a very young age.
Yes.
So if this is taken care in the schooling system itself, I think it will be very much useful for them in their, as they grow up, the teenagers and further.
Yes, definitely.
Because it's not the college life that they get exposed to social media. It's now the school age.
Mm-hmm.
By the time they come to college age, they are already exposed, and we can't control them.
Yeah,
Somewhere,
because yes, I
yes, sir.
agree. many cases we have witnessed wherein the peer, the student itself in the same class, has posted such kind of things, the not so good things on the internet, and then made the things viral. So that is cyberbullying. So, in fact, yes, obviously at a very early stage, if we can take these things to the students in the right way, that can prevent. But the laws, what I feel is even the laws have to be very, very stricter. There's a lot of examples should be there among the public कि cyberbullying या फिर if we post fake messages, if we circulate fake messages, then there is a mechanism, there should be a mechanism to address such things and curb it, and the proper action, legal action has to be initiated there and there itself. Unfortunately, we all might have seen when we go to cyber police, like the website है, हमने complaint डाल दिया कुछ, तो how is there like we hardly see any urgency in reciprocating to the complaint that we make. So that means even the cyber police or cyber laws are also not equipped and adequate. That is what the problem is. So these laws have to be made very, very stricter. And a lot of technological interventions are also needed to prevent the misuse of technology. So probably we can take it to our students when we teach that, see, it's not that the students remain only the user. They have to be creative. Obviously, we in the new education policy, national education policy, we give lot of importance to the creativity, innovation, and skills related to that. And it has been rightly said that this new generation need not be a user only, but need to be a creator of the technology or the app or whatever it is. So this has to be promoted, in fact, how one can come up with an application, how one can come up with certain technology which can prevent such kind of misuse of the technology. It's a counter act kind of thing. So technology का misuse ये करने के लिए technology. So we can probably take it to the student. This is could be a one entrepreneurial aspect से अगर देखा जाए तो people can work on this. जैसे हम लोग ethical hackers होते हैं, वैसे ही ये चीज prevent करने के लिए some people can come up with effective algorithms and can build app. So a small plugin in the browser can do that work, and probably it will come. Like such kind of things will definitely become popular and become will be widespread soon. Is there anyone who has any incidents, anecdotes to tell me regarding the cyberbullying and about the students or about any other first-hand experience?
Yes,
Anybody?
so even the students in the colleges, like when the teachers are teaching, they're very much interested in taking the photos or videos, and they just put on their social media and make fun of the teachers. So such issues we address in the beginning of the academic year, say first year. But when some action is taken, the students are made aware of these such activities, then it is stopped immediately. So second and third, don't do this. But the first year students, as they just come to college life, they feel it is a college life, so they get involved.
Yeah. Okay, the third case study is regarding the criminal justice, AI in the criminal justice, artificial intelligence in the criminal justice. This is very, very important because see, human value के जब हम बात करते हैं तो justice is an important aspect to maintain a societal harmony. So technology is now started playing very big role in this. When it comes to criminal justice, if not in India but in US, lot of states, US states, have started using artificial intelligence based applications to as a predictive analysis as well, and lot many things. So that means whenever the judges take into account the such softwares and data fed to such softwares, and whatever predictive analysis that data gives, or whatever analysis that data that application gives, based on that the decision is made. Now slowly this will come to India as well. Because if you look at the scenario in Indian judiciary system, there are thousands of cases, lakhs of cases which are pending, which we keep on reading in the newspaper. So we need automation, we need artificial intelligence, definitely we need technology in the judiciary. But then when we are using this technology in the judiciary system, we have to be very, very, very careful. The algorithms that we are going to use need to be so sound that, जैसे हम लोग कहते हैं ना कि 100 गुनहगार छूटे तो भी चलता है, लेकिन एक बेगुनाह को सजा नहीं होनी चाहिए, dialogue we have heard many times. That is the intensity of, that is the importance of having a good technology, because otherwise that will impact the whole judiciary system. And it has happened in the US. See, when we talk about AI, what it does in the judiciary system, any application in the judiciary system, what it does, it enhances objectivity, because algorithms make decision based on the data predefined criteria. So जो ह्यूमन बायस होता है डिसीजन मेकिंग में, वो निकालते हैं, ऐसे माना जाता है. दैट्स द हाइपोथेसिस. ओके, सो जज नहीं होगा अगर हम लोग सॉफ्टवेयर यूज करेंगे, तो ह्यूमन बायस जो होता है दैट विल नॉट कम इन द पिक्चर. देन सेकेंड थिंग दैट इट विल एंश्योर कंसिस्टेंसी. ओके, जो सिमिलर हमने देखा रहेगा कि जब जजमेंट आता है तो प्रीवियस केसेस का हमेशा वहां पे कोट किया जाता है. सो दैट इज मीन्स द ऑलवेज व्हेनेवर द डिसीजन इज मेड, द जजमेंट इज गिवन, द सिमिलर केसेस आर ऑलवेज taken into account. So consistency is important. Efficiency I just talked about, right? The efficiency will increase definitely with the help of this technology. And a risk assessment. So informed decisions जज को लेना है कि बेल पे छोड़ना है, पैरोल पे छोड़ना है. So this is done on a risk assessment is done based on the data. ठीक है, पैरोल पे भी छोड़ना है या बेल पे छोड़ना है, तो obviously there is risk associated, right? If the habitual criminal is there, then obviously the bail and parole is out of question. Then negative impact का, ये अभी देखे वो सारे पॉजिटिव इम्पैक्ट्स हैं. अब ये निगेटिव इम्पैक्ट्स जो वैल्यूज को इफेक्ट कर रहे हैं, वो क्या है? बायस एंड डेटा. See that means, see we just now said human bias avoid करना है, but अगर डेटा फीड नहीं किया गया प्रॉपर, हिस्टोरिकल डेटा है, डिस्क्रिमिनेशन उससे वजह से डिस्क्रिमिनेशन हो सकता है. There were example, if you just scroll through the internet, you will find lot of examples where डेटा की वजह से रूलिंग कुछ गलत गया, क्योंकि हिस्ट्री हो सकता है कि सर्टन पार्ट में रहने वाले लोग या सर्टन कम्युनिटी के लोग, हो सकता है हिस्ट्री में केसेस ज्यादा हो सके, एंड बेस्ड ऑन दैट इफ द जजमेंट इज गिवन, then automatically that becomes a problem with the data. Then algorithmic bias. Obviously, the machine learning algorithms which are used, how we train, that is important. Okay. Then lack of transparency. Many companies जिन्होंने ये मैन्युफैक्चर किया है, ये ऐसे सिस्टम्स दिए हैं गवर्नमेंट को, so they have not revealed the kind of algorithm that they have used. So there is no transparency. The judiciary system is just the is going to just use the data that particular application. So there is no transparency. Then some unintended consequences also could be there. And what the words mitigation strategies क्या होने चाहिए इसके लिए, अगर ये चीजें अवॉइड करनी है, we should all know कि what are the mitigation strategies, how we can avoid this kind of bias or this kind of problems in the judiciary system. Diverse representative of data, and this is remember when I'm giving this case study example of the judiciary system, this holds true for majority of the data driven algorithmic applications which are used for, which can have a societal impact. Okay, so data has to be diverse. When we feed data to the AI system, it has to be diverse, right? See, AI, those who know about AI, तो उसमें reinforcement learning तो है नहीं, जहाँ जुडिशियल सिस्टम का अगर एक्सप्लेन मैंने किया तो है थोड़े बहुत at certain level, but usually it is the data, machine learning takes place for the data that we feed. So that diverse data is important. Algorithm auditing, that means that algorithm has to be constantly and should go under audit for biases, fairness और fairness metrics जो उन्होंने लगाए हुए हैं, उसके लिए auditing algorithm का होते रहना चाहिए. Transparency and explainability, obviously transparent अगर है लोगों को पता है कि ये सिस्टम ऐसे काम करता है, so that means transparency. Bias mitigation algorithm means the same, how we can change the weight, re-weighting data होना चाहिए, so that weight जो assign करते हैं हम लोग AI system में, वो weight change करने का टेक्निक वहाँ पे होनी चाहिए. ऐसे नहीं होना चाहिए कि hard and fast वहाँ पे है. Obviously there we can have a mechanism for doing so. Human oversight होना चाहिए. Simply AI driven system will take decision, नहीं, ऐसा भी नहीं होना चाहिए. एक लेवल होना चाहिए ह्यूमन ओवरसाइट का, एंड ऑब्वियसली एथिकल गाइडलाइंस भी होनी चाहिए. गवर्नमेंट शुड कम अप विद एथिकल गाइडलाइंस. सो see, this is what in this age, technological age, these developments in the technology are affecting human values like this also. This is quite, nobody probably might have imagined कि सच प्रॉब्लम्स आ सकते हैं टेक्नोलॉजिकल एडवांसमेंट की वजह से. ऐसे कुछ हो सकता है, इतने लेवल तक इफेक्ट हम लोग हो सकते हैं कुछ साल, बट दिस विल गो ऑन एंड ऑन. सो आवर ड्यूटी इज टू नो अबाउट दिस थिंग्स एंड कीप आवर स्टूडेंट्स इन्फॉर्म्ड. ओके, नेक्स्ट केस स्टडी इज very important and very relevant. Automation, automated employment and job displacement. So our the whole FDP is around impact of value system on youth, or human values and impact on youth, right? This particular thing has a great deal of impact on youth. Automated employment and job displacement. We are number one country in the world, 150 crore. I keep telling my students, we are now number one, proud to be a number one country, 150, 140 plus crore population. And we are the youngest country in the world. So obviously the jobs are going to be, job scenario will be very, very competitive. And when there is a competition, big competition, definitely human values are at stake. Remember, क्योंकि जब कंपटीशन इतना और हम लोग देखते हैं अपने वर्क सिनारियो में, आसपास में देखते रहते हैं कि कितना वनरेबल एनवायरनमेंट रहता है वहाँ पे. एक जॉब रहता है, 300 लोग रहते हैं, और जॉब में आने के बाद भी कैसे क्या कुछ होता है कि कैसे अब एक दूसरे से आगे जाए. So this is where, and it is very difficult in such scenarios for people to maintain their ethics, follow their ethics, and maintain human values. So this is very, very important to deal with. As far as youth is concerned, this is a very important issue. Automation and artificial intelligence are reshaping the job market. We all keep reading about this, right? I admit that for making this presentation, I have used AI tools. Obviously, the content I have derived, but not only the pictures, but for making the PPTs, I have used AI tool. Gamma करके, so नीचे आता रहेगा आपको made in Gamma करके. So I have used that AI tool. So what are the things that I avoided? मुझे वो theme select करने का काम बच गया मेरा, टेम्पलेट सिलेक्ट करने का काम बच गया. बहुत जगह पे जो पिक्चर्स है वो गामा टूल में ही मैं डिस्क्रिप्शन देता था, प्रॉम्प्ट देता था, एंड द पिक्चर्स, these all three pictures which you see on the screen are given by the application itself. Okay, the content नीचे का मैंने दिया, तो लेकिन ये पिक्चर्स उसने दिए, कलर्स उसने दिया, तो मेरा कितना टाइम बच गया यहाँ पे. I have saved lot of time. Such kind of huge presentation, if I have to make, it will take 7 days to make the presentation. The same work I could do in 2-3 days of making this presentation. So imagine, this is because of the AI tool which I'm using. And I have not yet fully explored. I have used around 3 to 4 tools for making my whole presentation. That was my experiment of using technology as well. It is not cut paste. See, because I have to put in a lot of efforts. So I could focus on the content rather than aesthetics. So aesthetics was taken care by this. I used to give just a prompt and get the picture. The same picture, if I have to go to Unsplash or any other website for getting the copyrighted, copy-free picture, or to pay to the different websites for getting a good quality picture, I have saved that time and money as well. So imagine the work that has been reduced. In the corporate scenario, this work could have been given to a person which is meant for making a presentations. एक सेक्रेटरी को दिया जाएगा, अगर कोई कॉर्पोरेट बॉस अपना प्रेजेंटेशन बना रहा है तो आज उस सेक्रेटरी की जरूरत नहीं है. The boss can himself or herself make the presentation with a click. So these tools are going to play havoc in a scenario, job scenario. We as a teacher should aware and pass it on this. Obviously, students are young students, they are generation Z, so they are well informed. But then our duty is also to inform them and make them aware the skills that they need to learn. And after that, the human values associated with, so that they, when they go for a workplace, they should not, behave erratically or the way they shouldn't be behaving and all. और कैसे एक दूसरे के साथ जब compete भी करते हैं, तो how to maintain that ethical approach, how to maintain the dignity, how to maintain the, so adapting to a change. Obviously, this is what we talk about. Lifelong learning is a key. We are learning technology. We never learn the things which we are not practicing the things which we studied in the college, and this generation also will be doing altogether different job. After, if your students, those are doing in the polytechnic or degree, for example, polytechnic rather, those are studying in polytechnic, after 3-4 years, they themselves would be doing jobs which are going to be altogether different than what they are studying here now. आज के जमाने में यूएस में प्रॉम्प्ट इंजीनियर, डेटा एआई को जो प्रॉम्प्ट देते हो, तो प्रॉम्प्ट इंजीनियर का डिमांड है, इतना है कि उसको अच्छी खासी सैलरी मिल रही. एंड दिस वी नेवर हर्ड ऑफ दिस प्रॉम्प्ट इंजीनियर करके कोई एक ये हो सकता है. वी नेवर हर्ड ऑफ दिस थिंग्स. सो दीज पीपल, these students are going to do jobs which are not existing today. So definitely we should, lifelong learning is what we have to inculcate, and our national education policy emphasize a lot on lifelong learning, how to develop that habit of learning, self-learning, relearning, unlearning. These are the These are the keywords of today's age. So automation, robotics, and artificial intelligence. There's a widespread use in the industry of these techniques because of which jobs are displaced. Okay, routine work is not there anymore. That is taken care by automation. What happens because of this? A job loss, for example. So many jobs be vanished. Self-esteem and sense of purpose निकल जाता है इंसान का. Financial stability and livelihood. Financial strain and insecurity caused by the unemployment and underemployment. ये प्रॉब्लम फेस करने वाले हैं. अब आज का यूथ ये प्रॉब्लम फेस करने वाला है, एंड वी हैव टू make them aware of that and prepare them for overcoming those things. Okay, not only not for facing those things but overcoming those things. Mental health and well-being, increased stress, anxiety, and depression. These problems will increase day by day. We see a lot of such examples. Now, if I give you a chance to discuss about this, you as a teacher keep coming across many such examples, students, those who need help to overcome stress, anxiety, and depression. And what happens because of the job loss or displacement, job displacement? Social ties and social cohesion जो होता है, community cohesion जो होता है, that is reduced, that gets disrupted, and that is a this social ties and community cohesion is what we say human being का core है, essence है, without which we cannot survive for long. No person can sit in the room for months together and survive. Not that. It is very, very essential things to keep all the things going for going the line. So ethical dilemmas and concerns क्या है? Because of this we discussed many. Income inequality, which we see already. The mundane jobs जो है, जो routine jobs है, how much salary do these people get? And in contrast to that, the high level technical jobs, जैसे AI में jobs है या technical, suppose who are the people those who get paid highest salary? कोई बताएगा? आप सब इंजीनियर टीचर हो आई गेस. सो आज आईआईटी में हम लोग सुनते हैं कि 4 करोड़ का पैकेज मिलता है इस स्टूडेंट का. तो दीज आर द हाईएस्ट पेड कंपनीज. आप बता सकते हो कौन से कंपनीज है ये, किसमें काम करते हैं? एनीवन? ये अगर कंपनीज आपने देख लिए तो ये सारे फिनटेक में काम करने वाले कंपनीज है जो अल्गोरिथम्स डेवलप करते हैं प्रोबेबली फॉर ट्रेडिंग एंड ऑल. एआई एल्गोरिथम डेवलप करते हैं ट्रेडिंग के लिए जो स्टॉक मार्केट में काम यूज होता है. तो दीज पीपल गेट एक्सॉर्बिटेंटली पेड वाइल दो रूटीन जॉब्स है, जो रूटीन जॉब के लिए हार्डली एनी पेमेंट है. तो इनकम इनइक्वालिटी होने वाला है. उससे वजह से जो प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगे तो ऑब्वियस है. स्किल गैप एंड रीट्रेनिंग. सो ऑब्वियसली टेक्नोलॉजी जैसे से चेंज हो जाएगा तो स्किल गैप आएगी, तो रीट्रेनिंग जरूरी है. प्राइवेसी एंड सर्विलेंस, the concern related to increased workplace surveillance and data collection. Obviously this is related to employment. ये होगा, डेटा सर्विलेंस होगा, इंक्रीज सर्विलेंस, वर्कप्लेस सर्विलेंस भी होगा, बढ़ते जाएगा. ये वनरेबल पॉपुलेशन है, जो मार्जिनलाइज्ड ग्रुप है, फॉर देम getting such kind of education could be a problem. Such education in India also, it was a case in US before, but now in India also the education day by day is becoming very costly. So getting access to say AI development का सीखना है अगर किसी स्टूडेंट को, so to get access to such education also needs money. So that increases the gap between poor and the wealthy people. So lifelong learning, entrepreneurship and innovation. See these points, somewhere you can relate with the initiatives taken by AICT as well. So these things going in hand in hand. The Ministry of Education और फिर स्किल मिनिस्ट्री जो है, लेबर स्किल एंड लेबर, तो all these people have identified these problems long back and have taken corrective measures in last 10 years if you see, and because of which we are implementing a lot of things unknowingly, but the main reason is this. See, IIC hai, through which we run this entrepreneurship and innovation thing. That is why we need more and more job creations. Probably job transition assistance अगर government provide कर सके या organizations provide कर सके, so that will help a lot. Mentorship support, constant mentorship support. Now, see what happens most of the times, alumni association अपना college का होता है, and our role stops over there. Once a student pass out, I hardly once in a year or so we call for a meet and all. But one of the thing that alumni association do is mentorship and constant support, even the job transition assistance. That would be very, very essential in coming years to provide such kind of assistance to our pass out students as well, reskilling them, retraining them, and make them empowered for taking up jobs. That will help a lot. Discussions, the role of government, reskilling, lifelong learning, entrepreneurship and innovation. We are doing all this. We are doing all this role. Just now I mentioned schemes we keep on hearing. जैसे कि मेक इन इंडिया है या अपना डिफरेंट स्पॉन्सरशिप स्कीम्स जो हायर एजुकेशन में अभी गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने लाए हैं, वो है स्टार्टअप्स के लिए जो फंडिंग आज आ रहा है, all government initiatives. The government is playing very important role in this already. For every TBI, technology-based incubator, government is spending huge money on TBIs. Government is spending huge money on tinkering labs, fab labs. So government is doing its role. What we are going to do as a teacher to maintain to cope up with this, that is what we need to think. Just one thing I told you about the alumni reskilling and all. But apart from that, how many of us are writing proposals for skill labs, tinkering labs? There are many schemes which are floated by AICTA or for Ministry of Higher Education. So we have to keep doing this so that the values remain intact. Otherwise, there will be chaos. If people don't get job, people don't get employment, if there is a divide between poor people, there's an economical divide, then definitely no country can progress with all this. And with the fact that we are number one in population, our role is much more. Shortly, now I'll not take much time to explain each and everything detail. लेकिन एक deep fake technology, many of you might have heard about deep fake technologies. With the invent of AI, these deep fakes are now becoming very common. आपने पॉलिटिकल इसके पीपल पॉलिटिकल जो लीडरशिप है उनके डीप फेक्स भी देखे रहेंगे, बहुत सारे वीडियोस देखे रहेंगे. The create the whatever profiles they create, they look exactly the same as a real person. Many TV channels are using now. They're using their AI created news anchors, but they have their individual identity, even though they are created by AI. But deepfakes are something like, say, example of, say, any political leader being created using AI and looks very similar, the exactly same to same, and then you make him speak whatever you want, Let's call it deep fakes. Now, this is also becoming issue. Truth and accuracy, which is a human value, which is at stake because of deepfakes, privacy and autonomy. This is a human value. This is at the stake, at its stake. Authenticity and trustworthiness, definitely, that is at stake. Ethical responsibility, intellectual property, right? Now, this may be now intellectual property we always talk about. तो इसमें अगर किसी का हम लोग डीप फेक बना रहे हैं तो obviously we are using its image, we are using everything like similar to him, even voice is also similar, everything is similar. So nowadays even the actors or voiceover artists, they are getting their voice copyrighted. Now the days will come where the actors will get their face copyrighted. Nobody will create a deep fake and use this kind of thing. So how we can deal with the thing, deep fakes? Detection and identification. So there has to be some mechanism, technology to detect that. Authentication and verification. Blockchain can play a very important role in authentication and verification of deep fakes, because those who know about blockchain technology, you can track the source using blockchain technology. So this can play, if the source is identified, definitely authenticity is taken care of. Data transparency, metadata preservation. Metadata मतलब उसके साथ, मतलब जो deep fake create किया जाता है, that content के साथ जो metadata होता है, such as timestamp होता है, location data होता है, device information होता है, that is called as metadata. So this metadata, if it is preserved with the deep fake, then definitely the source can be traced. Media forensic. Now see, all these things, have you noticed one thing? These, all the mitigation techniques which you're talking about can give rise to jobs. Earlier we have seen job disparity and all, but these things can give rise to job. So these are the new jobs which you can pass it on to your students. Media forensic. किसने सुना था media forensic? Media forensic could be a great avenue where students can train themselves and can get job. Then one mitigation strategy could be education and media literacy. Obviously, we have to teach our students how to identify the deepfake. Legislation and regulation, definitely, these are the things. This is probably the last case study. Already it's 4 o'clock. We are there till 5 o'clock. So almost I have come to an end. There is one more thing, that is education के बारे में हम लोग भी सोचेंगे. How can we leave that aside? Because we are all educators, so we cannot leave the education things. Then medical ethics and genetic engineering. There's one more on environmental aspect, but I'll cover it very fast. This is also technological advancement impacting values. What there's one of the reasons people keep on saying why we got COVID has to do with these things only, the research which is going on, and that they came up with some virus and all. So that has to do with all this. See, the world has had to pay the price of probably not following ethics or not following the proper care if it was not taken. So this is very, very important. Genetic engineering, we have been hearing for years together. And the ethical aspects of genetic engineering are very, very important, and there's a lot of what we can say, it is not in public. The things are not much in research which goes on in genetic engineering related things. Okay, especially in terms of human, the research which is going on that is not in public domain. Much of information we do not have. But then this will definitely, this is a case study, interesting case study, which we can definitely should take into engineering. So what exactly is genetic engineering? Is involved altering genetic material of organisms, including humans. So there is a gene therapy as well. That is the application of genetic engineering. So genetic diseases जो है, for curing those diseases by replacing a repeated faulty gene के लिए gene therapy use होता है. Genetic modification. There are techniques for genetic modification. You can edit a specific gene. Okay, for you can treat a particular disease by modifying genes, for example, baldness or any disease which is there in your so you can treat that using genetic modification. Genetic screening also. So screening in the sense there could be a predictive analysis that after 50 years you are likely to get this kind of disease, genetic screening. And personalized medicine. So as per your genetic makeup, you can personalize medicine. So these are the good things that this particular technology gives us. So it's a benefit of the human being. But then human values पे क्या impact करता है ये चीज? एक तो autonomy है. Autonomy मतलब decision making, खुद decision लेना. That is at stake. कभी कभी क्या होता है कि मैं इतना बहकाव में आ जाता हूं कि मैं हाँ कर देता हूं ये पर्टिकुलर जीन मॉडिफाई करने के बाद ये फॉर एग्जांपल आपको ये बेनिफिट होगा. मैं पर्टिकुलर एग्जांपल नहीं लेता हूं. आपको ये पर्टिकुलर बेनिफिट होगा. अब आप आजू बाजू में सोसाइटी में देखते हो कि हाँ इसको अगर ये इस तरह से मेरे जीन्स मॉडिफाई होंगे तो मुझे ये बेनिफिट होगा, तो ये फायदा हो सकता है. देन अल्टीमेटली यू से यस टू इट. दैट मीन्स यहाँ पे ह्यूमन वैल्यू जो ऑटोनॉमी करके ह्यूमन वैल्यू है दैट इज एट स्टेक. सोसाइटल प्रेशर रहता है, पीयर प्रेशर रहता है, कभी कभी अपने बेनिफिट के लिए ग्रीड प्रेशर रहता है. तो उसके लिए प्राइवेसी, दैट इज ऑल्सो ह्यूमन वैल्यू विच गेट्स अफेक्टेड ड्यू टू दिस. जेनेटिक डेटा आपका प्राइवेट रहेगा या नहीं रहेगा, वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. इफ द पर्सन इज सो इंपॉर्टेंट, उसका जेनेटिक डेटा है और वो पब्लिक बन गया, तो उसका यूज क्या क्या हो सकता है. यू कैन इमेजिन द कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस. वी सी लॉट ऑफ साई-फाई मूवीज इन विच दैट इज शोन. इक्वालिटी, unequal access to genetic therapies. This genetic therapy doesn't come cheap. You'll have to spend a lot of money for that. And then that is where the equality comes in. And obviously, ethical considerations. Non-medical purpose के लिए, medical purpose के लिए तो ठीक है, but genetic therapy जो होता है, genetic engineering even can be used for non-medical purposes, which is totally unethical, that has been banned. So these are the impact of human beings. And lastly, environmental impact, e-waste. हम सबके करिकुलम में e-waste का टॉपिक तो होगा ही. So we have to take care, because a lot of human values are get affected because of the e-waste which is being generated. Safety, health and well-being, to a larger extent, if I take health and well-being, we have to ensure, we need that. Respect for nature is a basic human value. We, like I said earlier, very in the beginning, people, those who had no technology whatsoever, they used to respect nature. Until the technological advancement हो गया और हम लोग nature का respect नहीं करते, this is wrong. This should not happen. And that is why it is very, very important to have these values, teach these values to the students, and that we are doing already. See, this responsibility lies on even corporates and the consumer, both together. So we should make them aware that yes, if you at the corporate level also, manufacturer nowadays they take, it is mandatory for every manufacturer to design to disposal, to have a process defined from design to disposal. And similarly, consumers also should be made aware that yes, this is important, especially students, because they are the biggest consumer of the technology. Everybody nowadays in that home, number of mobiles are more than number of people in the at house, apne apne ghar mein. So we should make people aware about the consumer responsibility. As an engineer, resource conservation, we can look at consume minimum parts possible, pure material possible, which can be easily recycled. So research goes into that. Efficiency as well as resource preservation, community engagement, and global solidarity. See, it's a global problem. So international cooperation and policies are very, very necessary to tackle such problems, and they are in place. There are many international level organizations which actually deal with green initiatives. This ethical consumerism, which is we can deal at our level. Now, how to use these devices, for how long we have to use devices, that is important. Now, we cannot just ask students, like we see so many people, those who change their mobile in a year or so. Every new model comes, they buy that. But that conscious consumption and consumerism has to be tackled at every level. So this is it. These are the case studies which we have studied. So I hope now these case studies have generated some curiosity which you can dig, you will dwell into it further and encourage critical thinking about the impact of technology on our values. So as a teacher, I understand and I consider that we are leaders, not only teachers, but we are leaders also. We are innovators also. So we are the one who shape the future. And I'm happy that tomorrow there's going to be Engineers Day as well. So if we could, in our college, if we could celebrate something to deal with this. Now I've given you thoughts through this case studies. So on the day, Engineers Day, probably we can arrange some activities which, I've mentioned here. Related to that, if you could come up with some activities. So anybody would like to share anything? Now I've covered all the case studies in minimum time possible. I've rushed through the many case studies at the end because I understand 3 hours is a big time to cover. Without any activity, you may get slightly bored as well. Anybody would like to say anything? Now, just few more points. As we all are teachers, I felt it is very essential to deal with even technology-driven pedagogical approaches aligned with human values. Now, days are gone where we used to teach in the class with a chalk and duster. Now, we are adapting technology-driven pedagogical approaches. When we are adapting these approaches, we should also aware and ensure that these approaches are aligned with human values. Now, since only the COVID has made it compulsory delivering a lecture from home, and we were doing so, we know the result. We know the result. And it happens because obviously people were not used to doing it. And somewhere we did not have a proper guideline, proper training for such kind of pedagogy. I'm fortunate in the SNDT Women's University where I'm working. We have full-fledged educational technology department, which runs MSc in e-learning, MA in e-learning, this kind of courses. And I'm also fortunate enough to work under for 5 years our ex-vice chancellor, Professor Vasudha Kamath, who was a member of national education policy, the initial member of 9-member committee. I had a privilege to work under her, and we had implemented such kind of pedagogical approaches, adopted pedagogical approaches long back. Like that was the year, I remember 2012-13, we started working on such pedagogical approaches, and later these approaches came handy during the COVID time, and now are part of even different aspects of national education policy as well. So let us have a quick view. So as a new pedagogical technique technology driven है, तो integration of technology into teaching learning होगा ही. But unless, because teaching learning is governed by values, that is what we keep telling, right? So the means that we are adopting, obviously we have to ensure that that is also governed and values become part of it. So it is most important. Tech-driven pedagogy must prioritize human values to foster inclusivity, empathy, critical thinking, and engagement. According to me, these are the most important things that we have to see whenever we are adopting such kind of technology. Inclusivity, empathy, critical thinking, and engagement. If we take care of all these things, probably we'll get good results. What are the examples? What are the different things that you can adopt? Flipped classroom, gamification I discussed in a while ago, personalized learning, online collaborative learning, VR or AR, virtual reality and augmented reality. Most of you being a teacher or being a technology like engineers and teachers know about these things. Okay, flipped classroom, gamification, personalized learning using data analytics and all, or giving them LMS mode so that they can learn at their own pace. Collaborative learning, which is again the important aspect. So you should have some techniques where even the students are sitting far apart, there could be a collaborative learning. So these are the benefits, obviously. Increased accessibility for diverse learners, improved student engagement, enhanced critical thinking, empathy development, and ethical use of technology. And what are the challenges? Obviously, digital technology, if you are using, maintaining data and privacy. ऑनलाइन सब कुछ हो गया तो कितने सारे डेटा अपने लीक हो जाते हैं, और फिर वी स्टार्ट गेटिंग कॉल्स फ्रॉम private agencies for enrollment of courses and all. Data privacy, digital divide. We have come across so many problems that people do not have access to tab or mobile or PC. So digital divide is the challenge which you need to address. Balance between human technology and human interaction. Ye balancing is very important. Otherwise, fully technology use. That's why that is where the hybrid mode comes in. Training educators for tech integration. This is a challenge as well. When teachers become creator, training is very, very important. Without that, we cannot create content. And keeping pace with a rapidly evolving technology. Because technology is changing so fast. The things which we were using earlier, we no more use. So keeping pace. Strategies through curriculum design, inclusive design, teacher training, continuous assessment, and partnership. So we have only one line if you have to conclude. That means whenever we are adopting technology-driven approach in education, please remember the values we are addressing, which I mentioned in my earlier slide. I once again show you this slide. Inclusivity, empathy, critical thinking, and engagement. If you take care of these values, your teaching, learning process, entire process will definitely be fruitful and more engaging. Now, just coming to the last part of the session, one exercise which you can do at home today. If you're already at home, then the exercise is think of take any value, human value, and imagine as if you're giving a solution or developing an application related to that human value. What aspects and how you can, what are the things that you can include, what features you can include rather in that particular application. For example, environmental sustainability. If that is the application that you are developing for the youth, young generation, what features you are going to include in that application? Or any other inclusivity, digital divide, जो भी है आप, जो भी ह्यूमन वैल्यू आप लेते हो, ऑटोनम, जो भी आप ह्यूमन वैल्यू लेते हो, उसके अराउंड अगर आपको ऐप डेवलप करना है या सॉल्यूशन कुछ प्रोवाइड करना है टेक्नोलॉजी की यूज करके, तो आप कौन कौन से फीचर उसमें इंक्लूड करोगे. सो दैट असाइनमेंट यू कैन डू इट इन पीवी पॉलिटेक्निक, एसएनडीटी यूनिवर्सिटी पॉलिटेक्निक जो है, वी हैव अडॉप्टेड दिस प्रॉब्लम बेस्ड पेडागोजी, पीबीएल, problem based learning. So there we always throw a problem and students have to come up with a solution, and then their internal marks are given based on that. So the same thing I'm applying here. I'm throwing a problem to you. So probably the organizers of this FDP can ensure the submission, and then you can release the certificates and all, so that the maximum participation is ensured. So here I come to an end. If anybody has anything to share, you're welcome. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anybody have any question? So, sir, we'll conclude the session.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I would like to conclude the session with vote of thanks. Sir has given very good examples of like the terms and conditions. Without reading, we click on the terms and condition. We have to take care of everything. And I have learned new technology like AI tool, gamma tool, and deep fake technology. These are the new words I have heard today only. And it is with a great pleasure and gratitude that I present before you today to extend a heartfelt vote of thanks to our distinguished speaker who enlightened us on the technology and human values. I also like to express my gratitude to all of you, our attentive audience, for your active participation and insightful questions. It is through discussion of such a kind that we can collectively shape the future of technology and ensure that it aligns with our values. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, all the participants joining with us. Thank you,
Thank
sir,
you.
for joining with us. Thank you for your valuable
Thank you so
time.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. All the participants are requested to fill the feedback form. All the participants are requested to fill the feedback form today itself. Okay, sir? Eh,
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. I'm
Okay,
leaving.
thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank
you.
you, sir. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
sir. I am also leaving. Okay.